Come here. Come here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, how are we gonna do this? There. Welcome back to Justin's Joint, where I've got my trusty reindeer Lily here to help me review the last of the Winter Christmas series tobaccos. Stay tuned. Who's a good doggy? Mwah! I gotta put you down now. It's time to make a video. Okay. Alright guys, welcome back to The Joint, where tonight we're going to be finishing off this Christmas-winter series of pipe tobaccos with one that is kind of maybe a little bit outside of the realms of what I'm trying to do here, but I included it anyway just because, hey, it's Justin's joint, it's not anybody else's joint, and I can do what I want.
Whatever, I do what I want.
So tonight, the last of these tobaccos is WinterGold by Daughters and Ryan, and you know, I just got this, and I swear I've looked at this before, but on tobaccoreviews.com it says that it is no longer in production, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, we're still going to do this review, because you probably could still get it if you really wanted to. Daughters and Ryan WinterGold. What is this tobacco? Well, I've got some right here on this piece of paper, and I'm ready to pack it up, but while I'm doing that, I'll kind of explain kind of what it is. So it is a Virginia-Burley type of a blend. As you can kind of sort of tell from, you know, the way that it looks, it's got a lot of very bright leaf, you know, very light colored leaf, and some kind of brownish colored leaves. Obviously, I mean, it's obvious that it's Virginia and Burley. But it also has kind of a topping on it of Wintergreen. And you might think, Wintergreen, like a stick of gum? And that is not exactly what it is. Actually, that's not what it is at all. So when you open this tin, hold on, I've got my Milano church warden here. Got to test the pack, and actually it is just about right. So we're going to go ahead, set the pipe down, put the tobacco back in the jar, and this comes in one of those Cornell and Deal style of containers, so I don't like to leave it in there because it tends to lose quite a bit of moisture when you leave it in those. But the moisture content of this stuff, actually, when you get it, is pretty much right on the money. It's maybe a little on the dry side, but I kind of like it that way a little bit better because, number one, you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of moisture potentially making your tobacco mold. Number two, you're not paying for a bunch of water. Number three, since there's not so much moisture, they don't have to put as many preservatives in it to keep it from molding. That is not just me. I've actually seen reviews, or I've seen videos of, you know, the guy that owns the company saying how he likes a certain moisture content because then he doesn't have to put antifungals and stuff in there to keep it from rotting in the tin. So I can certainly appreciate that when, you know, it comes a little on the drier side for those 2 or 3 reasons, however many reasons that was. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and light this up. The cut on this is a pretty nice ribbon cut. And the topping is Wintergreen, as I mentioned before. And as soon as I get this lit, I'll kind of describe what that is. Now, since this stuff is fairly dry right out of the tin, don't be surprised if the charring light just takes right away. Now, I know for a fact I'm going to need a second match because I'm going to sit here and talk and it's going to go out. But this stuff has wintergreen in it, and What that means is when you open this tin of tobacco, it smells like you're opening a can of chewing tobacco. Realistically, it smells like, Copenhagen long cut or something.
You dip, bro? Ew!
I've only chewed maybe once or twice in my life, and it was such a violent, sick reaction that I can't stand the smell of chewing tobacco. To this very day. And that's what this smells like. Now, I say I can't stand the smell of chewing tobacco, and that's true. Chewing tobacco has this same smell as what's in this jar, but it is much stronger. The wintergreen aroma in this jar is very much, it's there. You could tell it's there, but it's not nearly as strong as, somebody open up a tin of chew.
I can't break away, y'all. Oh, gosh dang it. Damn barcode.
Now, for me, I had such a violent reaction to chewing tobacco when I tried it that even to this day, 20 years later, somebody could open a can of chew all the way across the room, a big room, that is, all the way across a big room, and I would smell it and start to get sick. This is different. It smells the same, but the amplification is just toned way down. If that makes sense. It's just, it's tolerable. I can't say that I really like it, but it's tolerable. It doesn't make me want to, just turn green and vomit. This review's off to a great start because really the tobacco itself is not bad. When you smoke this tobacco, match number 2. When you smoke this tobacco, it becomes very apparent that it is a Virginia tobacco. To me, knowing that there's Virginia and Burley in there, the Virginia definitely takes the front seat. That's what you get the most of with this tobacco. Now, the wintergreen, kind of a mintiness. It's not to be confused with menthol. It's not menthol, it's wintergreen. It's just kind of a mintiness. It does come through very, very, very lightly. But, first and foremost, you get, you kind of get that sweet, bright note from the Virginias. And then the second thing you'll notice is the Burleys in the background. And then the wintergreen mintiness is like way off in the distance. It's there, but it's just way out there. So it's not overbearing in that I don't like the blend because of what it tastes or smells like in the tin. Yeah, you kind of get that bright, lively Virginia going right in the foreground. But you can still pick up the little bit of nuttiness of the Burley.
It's a bit nutty.
With the wintergreen in the background. I think I've now said the same thing 3 different times, 3 different ways. What else can I say? It's a Virginia-Burley with a wintergreen topping. And it's not gloopy, so this is, I think, technically an aromatic tobacco. However, it's dry. It's really dry. So, the topping that they put on there is pretty much completely evaporated out. So you don't wind up with any of the oiliness or not even any extra moisture. It's like they sprinkle the topping on and then they let it evaporate off, all the moisture evaporate off, so that all you're left with is what was in that topping, which is kind of nice. This stuff burns, since it's dry, it lights up real easy. It burns pretty easy. You're not going to have to work to keep this lit. I'm even talking and it probably is still lit. Barely, but it's still there. Give it a tamp. Yep. if you're not talking like I am, it's not hard to keep this lit. Like, this could be a one-match type of a proposition here. And it's not uncommon for this to just burn all the way down to the bottom of the bowl. Just dump out a little bit of gray ashes and you're done. So like I said, as far as the wintergreen flavoring, some people give this a rating of kind of a mild to a medium. I would say the flavoring takes a backseat to everything else. So I would put it down on the lower end of mild as far as that goes. I've never really had any trouble with nicotine from this one, although I've never tried to smoke it on an empty stomach. That might change things a little bit, but as far as that goes, I've never had any trouble. It's always burned nicely for me. The room note can be maybe just a little bit smoky. This one here, as far as pipe tobaccos go, I don't know. I've smoked this down here a couple of times. I've smoked it in the house a couple of times. You do get maybe a little bit of the mintiness, but it also is kind of cigarette ashy after the fact, in my opinion. I mean, I still like it, don't get me wrong. It's just this one is one that more people probably aren't going to like than others. Now, as far as the taste and the flavor goes, this one is not over the top strong, but it's also not like smoking hot air. I just put it right down the middle. I mean, honestly, for those people who are into a Virginia blend with a little bit of some sort of a topping and you don't mind wintergreen, I could see this being kind of an all-day smoke for some people, for the right person. Like, I'm not going to sit here and smoke it all day. I mean, maybe I would. I don't know. If I was in the right mood, I probably could. Something that surprises me, though, is that even as dry as this tobacco is, I still do have some gurgling once in a great while where you got to stick a pipe cleaner down there. Now, my church warden cleaners are back there in the cabinet, and I completely unpreparedly started this video without grabbing one, so I'm just going to have to deal with it now. But now, the thing that I do notice about this too is that since it's Virginia heavy, since it's Virginia forward, everybody is different. Everybody's mouth chemistry is different. Virginias and me sometimes don't get along. Sometimes Virginias are just a little sharp. Not to be confused with tongue bite. It's just I have to kind of take it easy with Virginias. Most Virginias, and this one is no different than that. If I was to just freight train this this pipe, I would be very unhappy that I had done so. Let's just say that. However, if you sip it, just kind of smoke it slowly, assuming that you're like me, you'll be all right. Well, all right, guys. I think that's basically it. Not a whole lot to say about this tobacco. It actually, for what it is, it's actually kind of a no-frills, simple proposition. Virginia-Burley with some wintergreen topping on it. I mean, what you see is what you get. I don't really notice too much change throughout the bowl. Stays pretty consistent as far as I can tell. Maybe towards the end, you get just slightly more of the burley. I would say that's probably about the only thing that happens. Otherwise, the wintergreen flavoring stays way off in the background. The Virginia definitely stays way up in your face. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this tobacco. Now, I've been making this video now for about 18 minutes, and I've pretty much already smoked this down. As I said, it's pretty dry. So it smokes pretty quick. Not to say that that's a bad thing. Actually, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes, you get tobaccos that last, 45 minutes to an hour. And, by the time you're done, it's like, I'm just ready to go do something else now. some people don't have a problem with that. Sometimes, sometimes I do. Sometimes I just get tired of it and end up stopping. But this one, you won't have that problem. This is probably 15 to 20 minutes tops, and you're going to be done with it. So, anyhow, there it is. That is the end of the Christmas/winter. Had to add the /winter for this one because it's not really Christmas. But that's the end of the series, and I actually am pretty surprised that I was able to get this done. So, don't know what I'm going to do next. I got so much stuff in the cabinet. I just need to start doing something every now and then. But till next time right here in the joint, we will see you guys later.